Hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to a live Manchester United news show. Lots of news and information to get into today's show. Just lots of general stuff as well, like the new kit, like plans for Collier and Harry Amos have been revealed, big updates on Ugarte and McTominay, Lindelof sale close, interesting news in relation to Nico Williams and a few other clubs, few other interesting stories as well. Like, Chelsea signed Neto, then they sold Gallagher, and then they sold Amora, and then they signed Amoradon, whatever he's called. Now that's not happening. And then Gallagher could be off, and Chelsea signing João Felix. And we'll talk about other clubs later in the show. But obviously, we'll start by talking about United and get through the news. But just the crazy amounts of news that's come out. Ugarte on loan, Fulham coming back in from McTominay apparently. Hermoso, one source is saying we're closing in on signing him, another source is saying we've rejected him. A source saying that Lindelof's exit is very close. There's a lot of news and information, but guys, De Ligt and Mazraoui are here. De Ligt and Mazraoui are here. They're doing the medical. 3 deals are ongoing today. 3 medicals are ongoing today. And do you know what? It's good to know that we're going to have some people ready. And I actually liked a few tweets. I want to show you this quickly before I get into the news. So I thought I'd like some tweets. I can get them on the screen here. But this is Matthijs de Ligt arriving at the airport. And Matthijs de Ligt, when he arrives at the airport, says, Mazraoui's waiting for me. Sky Sports then showing De Ligt and Mazraoui both arriving at Carrington there as well, was shown by Sky Sports. And then there's obviously De Ligt arriving. And then there's photos of both De Ligt and Mazraoui arriving for their medical. As you can see, lots of footage. De Ligt is here. They're at Carrington. They're here for the medical, bish, bash, bosh. Just want to thank Drool78 for becoming a new member and joining the members club. Much appreciated. Appreciate all the support shown on the channel these last few days. Guys, if you are new, please do subscribe and hit the like button. But as you can see, footage as well. Is there a behind closed doors game this week? I wouldn't be surprised if there's a behind closed door game this week to get minutes in De Ligt and Mazraoui's leg. I wouldn't be totally surprised about that as well. But I don't know if you saw any news about a behind closed door game this week, do let me know so I can check the details and see what information I can get on that as well. But I wouldn't be surprised to get some minutes in De Ligt and Mazraoui's legs, maybe like a Thursday. Who knows? Forget Ugarte, get a cheaper option, save money for next season, and go massive for Wharton and Palmer. I tell you what, Adam Wharton and Cole Palmer next season, whew, that'll be unbelievable. If Bruno Fernandes leaves, I think I will go for Cole Palmer because I think he could play in that 10 role. Even though he could play as a winger, I think if Bruno Fernandes leaves, I think I will go all out for Cole Palmer. I think, the fact that Cole Palmer carried a Chelsea side, the fact that Cole Palmer absolutely carried a Chelsea side that was crap and got all those goals and assists, Bruno Fernandes, Cole Palmer, I generally think Cole Palmer is a Bruno Fernandes replacement. So if anything did happen for Bruno, yeah, I would go for Cole Palmer. But he wouldn't leave Chelsea this season. He is a massive Man United fan. I think with the right bid, he could leave Chelsea in 2 seasons' time. But, I mean, that would be insane as well. But, yeah, let's continue into some things. Apparently, Mazraoui was limping. I hope not. I hope we don't have an injury before they even start as well. The medical was today. Apparently, it was Mazraoui limping. That won't be a good sign. Palmer would cost over 100 million. Yes, if he has another good season. Yeah, that's the one thing. But potentially, if Chelsea aren't in the Champions League and they need the money, I think that would be one. Only if Bruno Fernandes left. I think realistically, that's probably at least 2 seasons away from happening as well. So I think Xerxes and Bruno's going to link up really well as well. So let's pay 120 million for Palmer. Do you know what? He may be one of those 100 million players, but I think for me, Man United cannot spend 100 million on a player until we finish second place and we look very close to challenging first. For me, you've got to sign 30 to 60 million pound players to build a squad that can get to that second place position and show that it's a good squad. And then when you're second place, you sign that 100 million pound player that's going to push you for first. That's how I always feel with it. You know how Arsenal last season, they went and spent 100 million on Declan Rice because they came second to City. And then the next season, they took City to the final day. I think you have to, 100 million is what you do to have that transformative player. And I think we're a little bit far away from that, but it would be pretty cool as well. Wharton's going to be an absolute scrap of top PL clubs next summer. If Wharton continues playing like he does, if Cole Palmer continues playing like he does, but particularly Wharton because he's at Palace, there's going to be an absolute scrap. But look, let's get back into the Manchester United news. Let's get back into the stories going about in regards to Manchester United. But both De Ligt and Mazraoui are here for their medicals at Manchester United. Lovely stuff, bish bash bosh. As you can see, this is Mazraoui. This was him at the airport this morning, arriving for his medical, and now Mazraoui is in Manchester for his medical as well. Alice, did anyone clip your goals? No, I don't think so. Scored 3 goals yesterday. One of them was a brilliant solo goal. First time ever playing 90 minutes. 2 assists as well, but none of it is on camera. My mum videoed the floor because she couldn't work a camera. So, yeah, we didn't get any videos of my goal. But, yeah, Musiala or Wirtz or Palmer only capable of Bruno. Get Ugarte, please. I mean, look, Bruno's not going anywhere. He signed a new contract. He signed a new deal. Brilliant stuff. But, yes, I somewhat agree with that as well. So let's dive into the news. Let's dive into the stories. Let's dive into the information. So, bish, bash, bosh here, as you can see in the chat. Matthijs de Ligt and Mazraoui at Carrington right now for medical tests as planned. Man United want both available at Fulham. So we've got 3 medicals ongoing right now. Wan-Bissaka has started his medical with West Ham, and Mazraoui and de Ligt are both at Carrington now. So they could be announced maybe tonight, probably tomorrow, because United would probably like to do some cool stuff for the announcement. So I think that those deals could definitely be announced tomorrow as well. We also got some further info that West Ham have all the documents in place for Wan-Bissaka to join the club. Medical will be complete today. Green light from United, 15 million. 0 doubts, because yesterday there was some reports saying that there were some issues with the Wan-Bissaka deal, and considering that the Chelsea Gallagher deal might be off, you sit there panicking. Oh no, don't tell me something's wrong with the Wan-Bissaka deal. Don't tell me something's off with the Wan-Bissaka deal. There was a couple rumours about that last night, but Romano has confirmed, no, do not worry about that. All is good, all is fine, all is going well. Nothing wrong with that in the case as well. Alice Van Persie, I like that one. Nico Williams is set to be staying at Athletic Bilbao as well, because Barcelona won't pay the money for him, which I think if Sancho went, not that I think Sancho's going, because PSG have just signed Desiree Doué, Nico Williams would have been an unbelievable stuff. Someone said, what's with the Delictate? Is there Delictate in the chat? De Ligt wasn't in my top 5 choices for the centre-back position, but I think because of his experience winning titles in 3 years, his ability to play under Erik ten Hag, and the fact that he's 40 million in this current market, and I think the fact that Bayern fans were protesting to make him stay and got nearly 80,000 signatures. I think you can't say De Ligt is a bad signing. In fact, De Ligt is a very good signing as well. Alice, who would be your top 3 dream signings to United next season? So let's assume this season we sign we've got De Ligt and Mazraoui coming in, and we sign a DM. Next season, it would probably be, I mean, it depends how we play next season, but I'd probably be another midfielder, someone that could play as a 6, as an 8. I think another midfielder, maybe a Wharton. Depends how he does. And then I would probably say Nico Williams or whoever's the next big thing in the right wing market. And then, a Cole Palmer would definitely be one of those under consideration for sure. Erik ten Hag runs players into the ground. We need to really use our squad for long-term success. I do think Garnacho got run into the ground last season, and I think that's one thing that Erik ten Hag has done, is run our players into the ground and not rested and rotated enough. But that being said, in fairness to Erik ten Hag, all the injuries we had, can you blame him? So let's talk about the squad. Let's talk about the plans going on for next season. It was said there's no plans for Harry Amos and Toby Collier to go out on loan for the upcoming campaign. Both are available for selection for the under-21s and senior squad. So there was some rumours that United could potentially offload Toby Collier and Harry Amos. They could potentially go out on loan, but it looks like they're going to be involved. I think the performance that Collier put in versus Manchester City, and how we went up a level when Collier came on the pitch, and the performance levels from Collier, and particularly in that City game, says to me, I think because of the lack of sales happening and only one midfield signing is likely, despite us wanting 2, I just think, I would probably say, so I think Collier will have a big part to play next season as well. With more depth, Erik ten Hag has to rotate much more than he has done previously. Exactly. And as I said, and I don't know if you watched my live show earlier, but I can actually get this up on the screen here. Not my live show earlier, my video last night. But I actually think the depth is there. So I saw this guy on Twitter post this, and I just included it at the end of my video last night. And you see, we've got a team that could be Rashford, Bruno, Ahmad, Xerxes, Maino, Casemiro, Shaw, Leachy, De Ligt, Dalot, and Nana. That could be what's seen as the strongest team. We can argue a few of those positions, but for the sake of this, we're not going to argue it. You've got Garnacho that can rotate with Ahmad and Rashford. Garnacho could arguably be starting over them right now, but we'll have that discussion later. Højlund and Xerxes, they're rotating with each other. Mount and Bruno rotate with each other. I would say Sancho and Ahmed rotate with each other, but Anthony and Ahmed there. Collier can cover Maino. Burge can cover Sassamir if you bring in Burge. Shaw Malassi on the left. Leach and Maguire at left centre-back. De Ligt Euro right centre-back. Mazraoui Delo right back. There's now, I think, rotation options in our squad, and there's definitely options for variety there where we can rotate and build stuff. Is it De Ligt's birthday? Is it actually De Ligt's birthday? Happy birthday to Matthijs de Ligt. He's spending his birthday having his Man United medical. That's the most Man United thing to do. Is we'll spend 6 weeks on this deal, and then you know what? Happy birthday. Go get on a 6 a.m. flight and have your medical after waiting 6 weeks. Happy birthday, de Ligt. That's such a Manchester United thing to do as well. So let's have a look at this. So yes, Toby Collier and Harry Amas expected to have bigger roles. Harry Amas is one that is expected to maybe come in more December time. He needs to develop physically. He's only just turned 17. Toby Collier is one that Ten Hag actually plans to utilise and use this season, particularly with the midfield issues we had out of possession. I think Toby Collier coming in and being used regularly by Erik Ten Hag, you cannot complain too much about that as well. So Big 25, Matthijs de Ligt. Happy birthday, de Ligt. Welcome to United, and Toby Collier and Harry Amas are staying. So we also know that the deadline for registration is Thursday at midday to be eligible for the Fulham game, and both De Ligt and Mazraoui are on their way to United for medicals. They should be available for the Fulham game. So what are the other news coming out? What's the other story coming out on the defence? Are we going to get any exits? Because, De Ligt and Mazraoui are coming in. Well, Mario Hermoso said this. This has been said of Mario Hermoso. Mario Hermoso has been offered to Manchester United. Manchester United has rejected the opportunity to sign Mario Hermoso, but it's not come out from the most reliable source, so keep an eye on that one. It was then said that Manchester United will hold a recruitment meeting on Monday to discuss their next targets and who could leave with interest building in Lindelof. Now, if you watched my live show yesterday, we got lots of info coming out that Lindelof exit is close. There's interest in Lindelof from Italy, and Lindelof is expected to leave United with Matthijs de Ligt coming in. So now there's obviously a big meeting to discuss the future of Victor Lindelof at Manchester United. Now, interestingly, and I thought this was a good point here, a recruitment meeting is taking place today with the United hierarchy. The last time that news came out, we made a second bid for Branthwaite and got a bid accepted for Euro, said United era. And he's absolutely right. So we've got this big recruitment meeting happening in regards to Victor Lindelof and a couple of players. The last time we had a big recruitment meeting, the Branthwaite bid was made and we had a bid accepted for Euro. Every time we have a big recruitment meeting, things will happen. And that says to me, considering we've put in a bid for Ugarte and Florian Plettenberg confirmed yesterday we're still in negotiations for Ugarte, I think tomorrow or even tonight, we're going to get some big updates on Ugarte or Burge or whatever's going on in the midfield. I think there's going to be some big news coming out in the next 24 hours because whenever we have a recruitment meeting, things start to move. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, guys, because if we do get some big and breaking news, I'll be there to cover it. There is actually reports coming in that United are having a discussion about Frankie de Jong, although the concern is that he's injured. And if Manchester United sell McTominay, they may opt for Frankie de Jong, and there's some conversations with Barcelona ongoing. But I think we will get some big breaking news in the next 24 hours in regards to midfield, considering that every time we've had a recruitment meeting, which something massive has happened, it may actually get United to act. Could we still go for Branthwaite considering the announcement yesterday about Everton's PSR? So Everton are in PSR issues. Despite saying we don't have to sell Branthwaite and we're fine, Everton is still in PSR issues, which probably explains why Everton seems so angry that we signed Euro. I couldn't understand why Everton fans and Everton Football Club were so angry and bitter and were writing reports that, we've overpaid for Euro and that Euro's going to flop. I was like, surely Everton should be happy because it means they're keeping Branthwaite. If Branthwaite's as good as this £70 million player you're making him out to be, surely you should be happy. But I think the anger from Everton fans that we signed Euro, says to me that I think they realised that they needed Branthwaite to be sold, and I think they thought they could do whatever clubs do and mug off Manchester United in the market. And I think Everton then quickly realised, actually, no, you can't mug Man United off in the market anymore because we just signed De Ligt and Euro when you want 70 million for Branthwaite. And I think that's what the issue was. So United have turned down Hermoso, and apparently we put in a bid for Frankie de Jong, but I don't know if there's any truth in the stories that we made a bid for Frankie de Jong. It's come out from a gutter tier source, so I think it's just fake news for clicks. So I wouldn't believe any of the stories about United making a bid for Frankie de Jong. If you want my honest opinion, I think it's come out from literally a source with no credibility that is known for lying for clicks as well. But I don't think we'll go for Branthwaite. I think the focus is on DM. Unless we make a lot of money through unexpected sales in the next 2 weeks, which, Mesbury, Ericsson, Pellistri, Lindelof aren't going to bring you much more than 30 million in. So unless McTominay, Sancho goes and maybe Casemiro goes, potentially there could be some surprises there as well. João Felix is talented, versatile, more skillful. He can give us what we lack up front. I just think João Felix is a number 10 and you need a number 9, and you've got Nkunku and Palmer that can play number 10. So I think that João Felix is a good player, but I just think Chelsea need Osimhen. Osimhen is what Chelsea need as well. Someone said no to De Jong. I mean, look, I'm more than happy for Frankie De Jong to come in as a second midfield signing because he's not an out-and-out 6 for the right price if he wanted to lower his wages and he wanted to come to United. But considering we don't think he wants to come to United, I'm not interested in the news that we've made another bid for Frankie De Jong because I know it's just made up, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if we sell McTominay, Pellistri, Hannibal and going for Bamford again. I mean, I think considering that we've got this big meeting today, there could be some surprises. Now, I think we're going to be going all out for midfield. I think we're going to be going all out and focusing on midfield. And I think we're going to get some updates on Sander, Berge and Ugarte. But I'm not sure. Any news on Ivan Toney? He's one of interest. But unless we sell Pellistri and Sancho, Man United won't make a move for an attacker. So our new third kit has come out today. It's been announced. I think everyone's seen the leaks for a while. But what are your thoughts on the third kit? I quite like it, guys. I do think that maybe the badge is a little bit bigger than I'd like. But I really like the third kit. I like the Snapdragon logo. It looks clean. I'm really happy with the kits this year, I have to say, personally myself. I think it looks good. And I do like a white kit. So do let me know your thoughts on the kit. David says, fire. Midfield should be the focus. Midfield is believed to be the focus at Manchester United. So I wouldn't worry too much about that as well. Any further news on Obi Martin? Obi Martin has signed as a Man United player. He's completed his medical. But until we can announce him and actually incorporate Obi Martin in, he has to go through some tests. I think it's more because he's such a young player. I think if you're under 18, there's a lot of player security and safeguarding and just making sure the deal is fair and all of that. So he's just got to have a few tests in regards to that, Obi Martin. But he is going to be a Man United player. He's just making sure that we're approaching this fairly as well. Switching Wan-Bissaka from Mazraoui is switching out Wan-Bissaka from Mazraoui is a nod to getting more players that can actually implement Erik ten Hag's style of play. It's come out by Melissa Reddy. And the reason we brought in Mazraoui is because Ten Hag obviously wants to utilise his style of play more. So there's a really interesting report coming out just now. We will dive into that later in today's show as well. But there's a few updates and news stories to get into as well. First sacking of the season, guys. But there's already been a manager sacking. There's breaking news. First manager sacking of the season is already out. Preston North End's manager has left the club after one game. One game. That's mad. One game. Why wouldn't they sack him before the season so they could implement someone new for pre-season? So one manager has already been sacked after one game, and it's not Watford. It's not even Watford. So that's some interesting updates there as well. And Wan-Bissaka was in the last year of his deal. We recouped something from a massive fee we paid on him. I think we had to sell Wan-Bissaka because we didn't want to let him go for nothing. We didn't want to let Wan-Bissaka go for nothing, and I think we needed the funds to invest in Mazraoui, who can play Erik ten Hag ball. So yeah, quicker than Watford. Guys, if you just joined, there's been a manager that's been sacked after one game of the season, and Preston North End have sacked their manager. Not even Watford do that. I mean, that just shows that a club's been run bad, because surely you'd sack your manager. What am I doing? You'd sack your manager before the season starts. You wouldn't have one game, we've lost, let's sack him. You've done the pre-season, you've done the preparation, you've done the transfer window with the manager to then sack him. I mean, mutual consent, but that means he's been sacked because he's not been very good, has he, as well? But yeah, that's mad. So yeah, there's some reports saying that we've rejected Hermoso, but that's not the most reliable report. So there are news coming out that we've rejected a Hermoso deal. There's a report coming out that Bramthwaite to United isn't off, and we could actually go in for Bramthwaite with Everton's PSR issues. And there's also a report that United are set to make a bid for Frankie de Jong at the moment. But I would say take all three of those news reports with a pinch of salt, because personally, I don't believe some of those news reports coming out as well. Someone said they like the white shirt. One game sacking is brutal. De Ligt and Mazraoui are at Carrington. Yes, I don't know if you saw the footage I showed you, but both De Ligt and Mazraoui at Carrington as we speak. So, shall we talk about Bruno Fernandes and some of the news that's coming on Bruno Fernandes? I do want to talk about the McTominay news. I do want to talk about the Ugarte news because there's been some interesting developments there. But let's talk about Bruno. So, Bruno got a new contract yesterday. It was a deal agreed out of absolutely nowhere. Oh, oh, sorry. Oh, sorry, I was just checking something there. I got sent something about Desiree Doué and a hijack, and I thought, wait, we're not going to hijack Desiree Doué. That's not going to be Man United, it's not. But I want to try and hijack Desiree Doué to PSG. PSG have obviously bought Desiree Doué. So PSG signing Desiree Doué, by the way, guys, means that the chances of us probably getting who we want in midfield, so us probably selling Sancho to PSG is looking less and less likely because Desiree Doué is PSG bound. But PSG apparently want 2 attackers, so it doesn't mean Sancho's completely off. But I'd assume the Desiree Doué deal is a strong suggestion that I can't see anything happening in regards to Sancho. Guys, please hit that like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. I do apologise that I just zoned out there. I am going to dive into some more news. I am going to dive into some more stories and all of that as well. I'm just replying to a message here because I've just been sent some information. So just bear with me a second. I've just been sent some more information on Ugarte. So let me just bear with me a second to read this because this is quite interesting here. So what's being said here is that PSG signing Desiree Doué apparently doesn't rule out some info on Sancho. A move for Sancho. So yesterday we saw PSG had signed Desiree Doué, so I thought, maybe that means a Sancho deal is off. Now PSG have signed Desiree Doué, all of that. Apparently PSG still want 2 attackers and could be willing to do a swap deal in regards to Ugarte and Sancho. So some more info coming out that suggests that PSG could do a swap deal. Guys, we've got 1,300 people watching. Please do hit that like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. Share the video and all that stuff. It's really appreciated. PSG don't need Sancho. Desiree Doué is better and cheaper. Well, actually, it's not cheaper. But PSG are thinking of maybe getting Sancho in on top of Desiree Doué and a swap deal with Ugarte. Man United want Ugarte on loan. Man United don't want to send Sancho out on loan, but there's talk of a swap loan deal going on as well. So yeah, let's dive into the news on Bruno. So Bruno Fernandes' probable new contract at Manchester United has been arranged to recognise his status as the club's most influential player. Bruno Fernandes also generated interest from Munich and Milan this summer. Now, interestingly, Mason Mount, Anthony, a couple other players were on a lot more money than Bruno Fernandes last season, so you can understand why he wants a wage improvement. Rich Thay said that United were initially reluctant to offer Bruno Fernandes a new lucrative deal as Ineos are looking to try and reduce the overall spending on salaries and limit player power. Although Fernandes is not seen as a disruptive influence in the squad, club chiefs agreed that Bruno deserves a new contract to reflect his importance to the team, with Fernandes viewed as a key figure as part of their ongoing rebuilding under Erik ten Hag. Fernandes could even become the club's highest earning squad member after Rashford and Casemiro's wages were reduced 25% following the club's failure to qualify for the Champions League. And I like this. I have no issue with Bruno being given a new wage because Mason Mount earns more than Bruno Fernandes. Anthony earns more than Bruno Fernandes. I believe Bruno Fernandes was on the same amount of money as Harry Maguire. And Bruno's a better player than them all. Also, Bruno's not a disruptive player. Bruno's not a player that you give him high wages and he's going to be crap and refuse to leave. He's not that kind of player. He's not a disruptive player. He's not a player power person. So I have no issue with Bruno being given a new deal, new wages. I think Bruno Fernandes is a special player, a phenomenal player. He's only given on those wages for 2-3 seasons. So when he gets to 32, we can potentially offload him. And yeah, I think he's so underrated, Bruno. I think his importance to the team is so underrated, and I think he's such a better player than people think. So yeah, very happy with Bruno Fernandes as well. But look, I know we shouldn't be giving out loads of wages after last season, but I can understand it as well. Bruno deserved an increase, but if it's 350k, it's way too high. We should be resetting wage structure. It's not 350k because he's on less than Rashford and Casemiro, who are on more than 300k before the wage cut. So his base salary is lower than... So Rashford and Casemiro are both on over 300k a week, but because we're not in the Champions League, they'll now be on less than 300k a week. But if we were in the Champions League, he'd still be earning less than 300k a week. He'd still be on less than Rashford. He'd still be on less than Casemiro as well. So yeah, let's quickly talk about Chelsea before I get into some more Manchester United news, because what's going on at Chelsea is actually kind of mad when you think about it. So breaking... The Athletic Gallagher deal was fallen through. So Chelsea out of nowhere signed Pedro Neto. They'd also signed that Samo Amouridan guy, and apparently he's rejected Chelsea because he doesn't believe in the Chelsea project. And then some other sources saying Chelsea rejected him because Chelsea want Osimhen. But Gallagher was basically banished from Chelsea. Gallagher and Chalobah were told not to return to Chelsea training. They've been banished from Chelsea. Gallagher and Chalobah, bear in mind, have been at Chelsea since they were 8 years of age. I'm just going to point this out. Gallagher and Chalobah have been at Chelsea since they were 8 years old. They're academy players, and I get that you want to sell Gallagher and Chalobah. They're academy players, but you want them gone. We want McTominay gone. But Chelsea think, you know, 2 players that we have a duty of care for that have been here since 8 years old, we're basically telling them, go, leave, or you're not going to be able to train with the first team. We're kicking you out. If you don't leave, we're kicking you out. That's what they're saying to academy servants. Chalobah and Gallagher were 2 of their best players last season when their big £100 million signings did not perform. And Chelsea thought, well, we're going to kick them out. Like, I get that we want McTominay gone, but we have a duty of care. We're not going to kick McTominay out of the squad because he's been here since he was 6 and say, F off. Chelsea want their 2 academy players out. They've kicked them out the side so they can go and buy more teenagers. Basically, that is what it is. We need pure FFP profit. Let's kick our academy players out. Both had good seasons, which is apparently the reason Poch walked away from Chelsea, because he did not want those players sold because they were key. So we could go buy more teenagers and then put those teenagers out on loan, is what Chelsea's plan is, so we can buy everybody. But Gallagher to Atleti seems to have fallen through at the last moment, because Chelsea can only sell Gallagher to Atleti if they'd signed a player from Atleti in return, was the deal that they struck, because Chelsea are cheating and getting around PSR. So it's all a bit mental at Chelsea at the moment. But I just really hope the Premier League take note of what Chelsea and Manchester City have been doing, because they're clearly cheating. They're clearly cheating and all of that as well. Any updates on Ferdy? Nothing on Ferdy. Now Mazraoui's done, I wouldn't expect any updates on Ferdy, for those asking in the chat. But like as Adam said here, if you can't see that Conor Gallagher, Amoridon and João Felix deals are all linked for Atleti and Chelsea straightening out their financial situation, please wake up, because there's no reason for Chelsea to want to add Amoridon and Felix in particular to the squad. There's not. They don't fit Chelsea's squad. They don't fit Chelsea's pattern. But yeah, Sam Amoridon deal was called off at the last minute with no current expectation of it being done. And it's just Chelsea finding a way to get around rules and stuff as well. Chelsea raised a lot of funds through sales this summer, but Bowie here is still hundreds of million negative net spend. So I show you the net spend figures. Chelsea's net spend is 3 times higher than Man United's in the last 2 years, but they can get away with it because they're selling hotels to get around PSR. And half of the money they're spending is literally going on these like 12-year-olds. Well, they're not 12, they're like 16, 17, 18-year-olds. But you know my point. It's absolutely mad. So Conor Gallagher apparently has been in a hotel for 3 days ready to complete his Atletico Madrid deal, and now he's been told, oh, by the way, it might fall through. By the time the window closes, Chelsea are aiming for a squad of 23 to 24 first-team players. They currently have 45. Chelsea currently have 45 players, and they can only get 25 to finish the squad. João Felix. Chelsea want João Felix and Osimhen coming out, and Chelsea are looking to sell Sterling. Would you take Sterling at United, guys? Like, if Sancho leaves, would you take Sterling? He's not been very good for Chelsea. If you could get him on the cheap, like 20 million, maybe. He's better than Anthony, but he didn't have a good season at Chelsea. Would you take, out of Chelsea's wingers, question for you guys, they're now open to offers for Mudryk, Madueke and Sterling. Would you take any of Mudryk, Madueke and Sterling? Low key, hear me out, Mudryk and Madueke I prefer to Sterling. And I know Mudryk hasn't been the best, but Mudryk and Madueke I prefer to Sterling, if I'm going to be honest as well. But yeah, João Felix now wants to return to Chelsea. You know, it's mad what's going on at Chelsea. Not that it really impacts Man United and what we're doing, but we will get back into the United news, but it's pretty crazy as well. But I would actually, you know, if Sancho went and we needed someone as emergency cover, I'm not against it. It would just depend on the wages and how much we paid. A lot of you guys are saying no. Sterling, absolutely not. I think unless you could get it, unless Sancho and Police were sold and we needed an emergency winger for 20 million on Sterling, someone you'd almost bring in on loan. You know, that emergency loan deal. Madueke and Mudryk I'd prefer to Sterling, if I was going to be honest. But I think we could do a lot better than that, to be honest as well. So sign Kvaratskhelia would be ideal. Madueke I actually think is a baller. But I mean, Ahmad, I prefer Ahmad, to be honest as well. Like, Madueke has potential. And like, there was a time when I would have wanted him at United when Chelsea signed him, but I prefer Ahmad. I prefer Garnacho, and I prefer Rashford to Mudryk, Madueke, and yeah. But I think Madueke would be the best out of all the Chelsea wingers. But Mudryk I think Mudryk, if he wasn't at Chelsea, could have been a good player. He doesn't fit Chelsea's system. I think Arteta could have made Mudryk a good player as well. Sterling, Liverpool and City player, no thanks. Oh my, imagine, would Sterling be the first ever player? If Sterling went to United, would he have been the first ever player to play for Liverpool, City and United? Like, imagine that. From Chelsea, only Palmer. Oh, yeah. If like, out of all the Chelsea players, Cole Palmer's the only one I'd sit there and say I'd sign. Levi Colwill for left centre-back, left-back depth. and Cole Palmer are probably the only two players at Chelsea I want near United. I like Moises Caicedo as well. I actually think he's a decent player. But yeah, Colwill and Palmer, probably the only players at Chelsea I'd be interested in. I like Nkunku, but there'd be no sense in signing him now that we've got Xerxes in as well. There'd be absolutely no sense. Jackson has good things about him, but it makes no sense now we've got Xerxes. Mudryk would have been much better for Arsenal, I think, absolutely. Guys, can we go for 500 likes? We've got over 1,300 people watching right now. If we could hit 500 likes, that would be absolutely amazing. So please do hit that like button if you have not already. Bakayoko, PSV winger. And that's why I always liked Madueke, Bakayoko. They always were similar as well. Gusto's a good player, but we signed Majraoui, so it makes no sense. Lavia I really liked, but he seems to be injury prone as well. And Reece James I really like, but he's injury prone. And with the injuries we have, I think Reece James and Lavia could be worst. So Busby, I believe, played for Liverpool City before becoming manager later, but not sure anyone else played for all three. Yeah, I mean, that would be mad. Not that I think we're going to get Sterling, but Chelsea will be looking to sell wingers. And if Sancho does end up leaving, because you never know. So let's get back into Manchester United news. So Garnacho, Kobbie Mainoo, Elise, Cole Palmer, João Pedro and Bukayo Saka are the top 6 nominations for the PFA Young Player of the Season award. So this is players that are young and have had a brilliant season. I'm considering that, Kobbie Mainoo is 4 years younger than every single name on this list, and Garnacho is 2.5 years younger. Garnacho and Kobbie Mainoo are 2 years younger than Elise, Cole Palmer, Pedro Saka. I mean, Kobbie's 4 years younger than some of them. The fact that they're on this list, fair play to them. I think it has to go to Cole Palmer. He's obviously older, but he came from City. He'd never scored a first-team goal for City. And never scored a Premier League goal, and then joined Chelsea, a really unstable, awful Chelsea side, and went and put up those numbers and carried Chelsea. I mean, it probably has to be Cole Palmer as PFA Young Player of the Awards, but it's good to see that Garnacho and Mainoo got the recognition and made the top 6. So we're going to talk about the midfield. We're going to talk about what really needs fixing at United, and that is the midfield. Now, Sander Berge is one to watch if PSG do not lower the fee. But Ugarte still seems to be the guy United are focusing on. So despite reports that the Ugarte deal could be off, this and that, and a lot of mixed reports in regards to Ugarte, Fabrizio Romano, every reliable source saying right now we're in negotiations for Ugarte. Also, guys, we're 10 subscribers away from 88.7k. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe down below if you're new. My really ambitious goal is to hit 90,000 subscribers by the end of the transfer window, which means in the next 2 weeks, I need to gain 1,310 subscribers. So if you are not subscribed, please do go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It really would help out the channel. We're 10 subscribers away from 88.7k on the road to 90k by the end of the window, the big road to 100k. I go live 11 a.m, I go live 5 p.m, and then I do a late night roundup at 10 p.m. every single day. Manchester United and PSG is still in negotiations to find an agreement about a permanent deal for Ugarte. He's saying not a loan deal, but other sources are coming out saying there's a discussion of a loan deal going on at the moment. Romano said only in the case of Ugarte would be too expensive and United couldn't compete in other important sales, they would consider Berge and Amrabat. But despite, De Ligt and Mazraoui being sold and no significant sales, despite us signing De Ligt and Mazraoui and having no significant sales, we're still focused on Ugarte. Despite reports that we could walk away, United is still focused, United is still interested in bringing in Manuel Ugarte. Now, I actually think that right now, because of our issues in possession, Sander Berge for 25 million could be better business than 50 million Ugarte. I think we can get Ugarte for 40 million, perfect. But if PSG want us to pay more, we just need to walk away. And I would go for Berge and Fofana. Berge and Fofana, you can get for the same price as Yusuf Fofana. You can get for the same price as Ugarte, Berge and Fofana. I think I'm leaning towards getting those two players in if we can. But apparently we can sign one midfielder regardless of sales. But if we want to bring in 2 midfielders, we'd need a sale, which would mean that we'd need McTominay to be sold. Because Manchester United are planning on signing at least one midfielder for Erik ten Hag this summer. Regardless of sales, United will look to sign 2 midfielders if they can raise funds through sales. Now there is talk of McTominay leaving. In regards to McTominay and Casemiro's future, it was said that Casemiro is expected to stay, but keep an eye on Scott McTominay. Manchester United were expecting a new bid for McTominay this week, but From Fulham, they would even willing to drop to 25 million, and that Fulham are likely to go back in for McTominay. The Mappeteers also said that McTominay is open to the Fulham move, and Erik ten Hag is more than open to sell Scott McTominay so he can spend further forward. The reason the Scott McTominay sale was really important, and the reason the Scott McTominay sale was something that United are desperate to get over the line, is because if we sell Scott McTominay, we get 25 to 30 million in pure FFP profit, which is almost like getting a 50 million sale because it goes that much further in the market, which means we'd have funds to bring in 2 midfielders instead of 1. And I think if you could bring in Fofana and Ugarte, brilliant. I mean, both Fofana and Ugarte would be brilliant. If you could bring Fofana and Burge, I think it's good business as well. Sander Burge is one we've got a bit careful with overpaying, but I don't think he's a bad player. I think out of possession, Ugarte's got more what we need, but I think Sander Burge is better in possession. But McTominay, I think right now we're going to sign a DM and we're going to get someone on loan. If nothing changes, it is a DM and someone on loan that can cover left back, and that's 2 more signings. If Lindelof is sold, if Meshbury, Pellistri, McTominay are sold, like it's being reported, then I think there could be 3 or 4 more signings incoming at United, which would be exciting as well. Didn't forgot Fofana begin his medical AC Milan. No, AC Milan have called their interest in Yusuf Fofana apparently. Why Fofana? So I don't know what's going on with Yusuf Fofana, but he was very close to AC Milan. Now they've called their interest. I think AC Milan are just trying to drag this out towards the end of the window so they can get Fofana on the cheap, because they know that Monaco need to sell because he's got 1 year left on his contract as well. There's a lot of news coming out that United are going to make a bid for Frankie de Jong, but it's come out from gutter tier sources. So the news that United are making a bid for Frankie de Jong is just completely and utterly fake news, guys, coming out from an unreliable source. We're not preparing a bid for Frankie de Jong unless Romano Ornstein says we are, and I wouldn't even get my hopes up if Romano Ornstein said we were preparing a bid for de Jong, because who knows if he wants to leave Barcelona. I just don't think de Jong's going to happen, despite news, despite rumours. I don't think de Jong is going to happen. I think it's all just made up. Continuing on into this story, it was said that switching out Wan-Bissaka for Mazraoui is a nod to getting more players in that can actually implement Ten Hag's style of play. Wan-Bissaka, we're going to lose him for free if we didn't sell him. Now we've basically got Wan-Bissaka sold, which covers the Mazraoui fee. We want to bring in Mazraoui because he suits more what Erik Ten Hag wants to do style of play-wise. He wants his fullbacks to press high. He can unlock Anthony. Well, let's hope he unlocks Amad Diallo, who doesn't even need unlocking because he's that good. And they can form a good partnership there. I think Mazraoui will play on the right. Delo will play on the left. I actually think versus Fulham, Mazraoui's going to start right back. De Ligt's going to start right centre-back. I think Martinez will start left centre-back, and I think Delo will start left back. I think we could see that back four versus Fulham with Casemiro, Maino, Bruno midfield 3 with Mount pressing up top. I think we'll see pretty much the same lineup we saw versus City, but I think we'll see Mazraoui and De Ligt coming into that lineup, and I think that's quite a good strong lineup if Casemiro plays like he did against City. If we get bad Casemiro, I don't know how I feel about the Fulham game, but if we get good Casemiro and how he played against City, I think that game massively depends on how good or bad the midfield is. Good Casemiro, if good Casemiro comes out, I think we're in a solid position as well. I think Bird suits us more than Ugarte. I think Ugarte is the better player, and I can understand why we're focused on Ugarte, but I think because of the issues we're having in build-up and the fact that we look so much better when Kobbie Mainoo came to pick the ball off the centre-backs, and obviously Ugarte doesn't really do that. He's not good in possession. I think Burge being better in possession could help United a little bit more. I actually get what you're saying as well. I think Burge, in terms of his ability on the ball, could help, but Ten Hag does like a destroyer-type DM, and that's what you get with Ugarte. He's clearly better off the ball, and our biggest issue last season was off the ball as well. Casemiro needs to stay with pivot. Can't be a lone 6 in the PL with his mobility declining. Absolutely agree. I think Maino playing tight to him, and then Collier in particular playing tight to him in the second half. The stability of the pivot, and the fact that out of possession we were no longer playing a lone 6, we're playing a 4-2-3-1. And Casemiro had a partner and there was stability there. I think was one of the reasons Casemiro was so much better. I hope we continue that going into the season. You never know, Ten Hag might go back to his previous formation where the build-up is crap. We have a lone 6 and we've got massive gaps in midfield, and that might just be a one-off versus City because he seems to change his tactics for one-off games like City and Liverpool. But I really hope we implement similar pressing tactics and similar off-the-ball structure and what we did in the City game further in the Premier League. The one area we need to improve from that City game is build-up. Guys, we're so close to the 500 like target, so please do go ahead and hit that like button if you have not already. And of course, subscribe down below if you're new. It'd be absolutely amazing if we can hit 500 likes. We're also 9 subscribers away from 88.7k. So if you are watching right now and you've not gone ahead and hit that subscribe button, please do go down below and subscribe. It really, really helps out the channel. I appreciate all the support in recent days. It'd be absolutely amazing if you could go down below and subscribe. But let's dive back into some more news. Let's dive back into some more stories. So as been said, a massive recruitment meeting took place today at Manchester United. A huge recruitment meeting was ongoing today. And last time we had a big recruitment meeting, we then made a bid for Yoro and Branthwaite right after. for me, I think we're going to get news coming out tonight or maybe tomorrow about potentially another Ugarte bid, potentially a Sander Berge bid, and potentially some development in Lindelof leaving. The big recruitment meeting tonight is to discuss Lindelof exit, but I think we could get some really big developments in Lindelof leaving. There is rumours of a Frankie de Jong and bid coming in as well. There is rumours of us making a big bid for Frankie de Jong, but I think that's not true. There's rumours of us obviously preparing a Sander Berge bid. I think there's going to be some really big news coming out in the next 24 to 48 hours. So again, do make sure you're subscribed for all of that as well, people. But look, De Ligt and Mazraoui are both here. They're both at Carrington. They're both about to undergo their medical. Absolutely lovely stuff. We've turned down Hermoso. Yeah, that is a report coming out. Someone said there's a rumour going around that Mazraoui's injured. Is there any reliability in the rumour going around that Mazraoui's injured? Like, how's that come from? Because there's a rumour coming around that Mazraoui's already injured and all of that. I mean, he was on the bench for Bayern the other day, so I don't think he's injured, but there is a rumour going about. Xerxes, Mazraoui and De Ligt all played together at Bayern Munich as well. So, yeah, that little trio is reuniting there. But I haven't heard anything about Mazraoui being injured, but apparently he was limping and apparently he's injured, but who knows? I mean, that would be really annoying if we brought in a player that's injured. But considering Ten Hag plans to play both Mazraoui and De Ligt against Fulham, I'd assume he's not injured. Mount and Collier could be like new signings on top of a DM. Yeah, Mount basically is a new signing because he didn't play last year. And I think, the Sky video, he does look limping a little bit, but who knows? He might just be sore. But Mount and Collier could be like new signings, particularly because both Mount and Collier's best role is how good they are out of possession. Mount and Collier's ability to cover ground the large spaces out of possession, which is what Ten Hag's system requires, means Mount, Collier and a new DM coming in, it could feel like 3 new signings. And when midfield was our biggest issue last year and we've got Collier coming through, Mount's going to be involved in a DM coming in. I do think that with the right signings, we can really push on as well. LA Matthew says United will not be signing another tech defender this season to focus on midfield. That's what I thought. I think potentially we do a loan at left back or left centre back and it's like a Reguilon deal in defence, but the next signing, I think, will be midfield. I don't believe any of the rumours about Braithwaite. I think it's midfield. I think if McTominay's sold, it could be 2 midfielders. But I think it's Berge Ugarte is the next signing. It'll be one of those, maybe 2 if the sales happen. But I don't see us going in for Braithwaite as well. Big up everybody in the chat. Please hit that like button. Of course, subscribe down if you're new. Look, I wouldn't say Mazraoui's injured just because he's limping. Apparently Ten Hag plans to play and we'll have to keep an update on that. But it is De Ligt's 25th birthday today as well. But we're going to wrap up the show here. Please hit the like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. Thank you for watching. Bye.